Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Trying to see if I'm doing this right. I'm going to try something new with this recording program that we're using. I'm going to attempt to switch over to a picture that I want to use during the teaching tonight. So let me see if I got this right. So now the picture is being showed. Yeah, the picture should be being showed now. Oh yeah, I see it. I can check it.
You can see it?
Uh-huh. So we're starting with the we'll be talking about the letter KAPH tonight.
What picture you got up there?
The picture's not up now. Come on, let me try it again. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right, let's see if we can see the picture now. Can you see the picture now?
I see the lion.
The KAPH?
I see it at the bottom, underneath the lion. KAPH and KAPH.
Oh, you see it? Okay. Yes, that's it, live. All right, so we're still learning. I've been in training a while in this program. I used to do video editing about 10 years ago. I used to do the music and the fading in, fading out, and all that with another program. But I'm with this particular program. I'm just minimal in what I know how to do. You can go ahead and mute that. Turn your volume down. So it looks like I kind of like got what I want on the screen. I don't know if it's going to flip back to seeing myself live, but we'll just play with it and see what happens today. All right, so let's get into our teaching tonight. Welcome, welcome. Today is March 29, 2023. I am Mora Mariah Yashar'el. Welcome to Yahusha House of Yashar'el, our School of Torah on tonight. We're getting back into the book of Revelation, seals our fates, and we're going quickly to Revelation, the first chapter. We're on the first verse, and we're talking about the manifestation of YAH'S Spirit in us, and we're on part 20. Hallelujah. You know that there's going to be some extensive teaching when we're talking about his sevenfold spirit. Mind you now, we only get to explicate a portion of his characteristics and who he is as to what he desires for us to share. And so we're going right to the book of Revelation, our base scripture for this teaching, the manifestation of YAH'S Spirit in us, Revelation 1 and 4. Yahuah to the 7 called out assemblies which are in Asia, grace be unto you, and shalom from him which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 RUACH which are before his throne. Hallelujah. And so drop down to that 8th verse. I am the Alpha and the Omega, which is the Aleph and the Tav. It is the Hebrew letter in the first and the last letter, which is the beginning and the end. says Yahuah. I am the one who is, who always was, and who still is still to come, the Almighty One. And so we know that Yahuwah's sevenfold spirit is visibly seen in heaven, according to Revelation 4 and 5. And you can visit that to see what it looks like around the throne. And we know that it is the burning flames and the flashing of the lightning, such drama around the throne of Yahuah. So tonight we're continuing in the sevenfold RUACH on display. We're going to Yashar'el, which is Isaiah the 11th chapter, and we're going to read the first and second verse. It says, "And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Yeshai," which is Jesse, "and a branch shall grow out of his root, and the Ruach Yahuah shall rest upon him, the Ruach Kukma, which is wisdom, and Benai, which is understanding, the Ruach Esther, which is counsel, and Gevurah, which is might, and then the Ruach Da'at, which we're still explicating, which is knowledge, and the last one is of the Yirah, which is the fear of Yahuah, the awesome reverence or respect of the Most High Yahuah." And so in our last teaching on knowledge, which is da'at, as we see in the Hebrew word, we saw it in the power of SEKEL, which is Hebrew lexicon H7922. And we spelled the word SEKEL, which is da'a, which means knowledge. We spelled it Shin Kuf Lamed. And we said that SEKEL means understanding, wisdom, wise, prudence, which is discernment, knowledge, sense, which is discretion, which is right judgment, by way of Yahuwah's policy, by way of his word or his ordinances. And see, we said that this knowledge is displayed in the heart of the man. And we're going to see that as we continue on with the letter KAPH. It is displayed in a way that it understands that the wise walk in the wisdom of Yahuah. We understand that it's not by our power or might, but it is by his Ruach. And so the wise walk in, we said, accurate insight, which is discernment that makes right judgment, as we said, according to not as we will, but according as Yahuah will. And so we have to be careful of that, because we make judgment as a humankind. It is so easy to make judgment according to our emotions. And it takes work to work on that, to get past, like Shaul said, I die daily. There's a fight in me, the flesh wrestling against the spirit. That's a lot of work that it takes. But the work, the weaponry we use is by way of his doing, his manifestation, his cleansing, his cutting away. It has to be by understanding his way of doing things. Until we understand the way he does it and the way we fight, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but are mighty through Yahuah. I'm telling you, through the pulling down, understanding is a weapon. Wisdom is a weapon. Right judgment, that's a weapon against anything contrary to what is right by Yahuah. It is so powerful. So we are explicating the function of knowledge out of all the information. The sevenfold spirit that we went through, his characteristic, benign understanding and wisdom and might. Knowledge is something we got to have, because if we don't know anything, how could we receive anything? To know a thing is to do it. I was telling someone about someone else, and we was just talking about them not making right decisions. And I was just saying to them that it is possible that the person don't quite understand. They don't quite understand, and if they get more knowledge and understanding of the way things go, maybe they'll be more receptive. It'll give them some insight. I see people receiving and changing by way of information. It's like, I didn't know that. So yeah, it's just an amazing thing to have knowledge. We cannot allow ignorance and that complacency to cause us not to be interested in knowledge. And knowledge is just an amazing thing. I'm just intrigued by knowledge. So we saw knowledge in the function as we were talking about SEKEL by way of the three Hebrew letters, Shin, KAPH, Lamed. And so we've already explicated the portion that the Most High would have us to, the letter Shin. And so now we open up in our last teaching, we introduced, I would say, the KAPH in details. And it's the first time I'm basically going over that detailed in this particular subtopic with the letter. So we saw the letter KAPH. We saw it in its functioning. We saw it in its meaning. We saw it in its meaning, such as bend, open, allow, tame. And so we said that this letter is represented by the open palm. And so when I look at the KAPH, it makes me think about the letter Hey, because it's in a submissive type of way. When the palm is open, even when your hands are up and you're surrendering, the palms are open. And so we spoke about this power on display in the function of the Hebraic word Sa'ah. And so we went to the first English word of the letter KAPH, and we said bend. And we said bend means to bow, cast down, to bring down, brought low, stoop, humility. And we saw that in its power to be flexible. We consider that to be the man's ability to be flexible, to submit in humility, to be open. And so we see that word open being the next. Being open to what? Constructive criticism. Being open to correction. And so when we looked at the letter, you can listen back into the last week teaching. I got to get back to setting everything up under the playlist. So we saw the word open, as we see open being one of the words that KAPH means. A part of its meaning. We said that open in its Hebraic word was gala. I'm sorry, I don't have the Hebrew number. But like I said, you could listen in last week teaching and take some notes. We saw it in Gala, Gala. And that was Gimel, Lamed. It was H1540, Gala, H1540. And what was the Hebrew words that spelled Gala? It was Gimel, Lamed, and Hey. Okay. And so we see Gala as one having the power to uncover. Open means to uncover, to discover, to be captive of Yahuah. It means to carry away, to reveal. There goes that, hey, look, revealed breath, man, hand raised in surrenderance. And so to be in captivity, to shew, to remove. And we said knowledge remove us from our place of ignorance, from a place of the unknown, causing us to what? To appear, because appear being one of the words that came with Gala. Then we saw KAPH by way of the word allow, ALLOW. And we saw that in the Hebrew word near, NIR. Allow is Hebrew lexicon. Did you get that one? 5215. Near, NIR, means fallow ground. Oh man, it was, I tell you, it fits hand in glove. When you do your due diligence and do your study, you will see that the Hebraic language and the function of it is really giving us a job to do. It is giving us responsibility. It's causing us to be accountable. It's causing us to understand some things that can go on within us a little quicker, as if we were work along with the Spirit rather than being delayed through murmuring and complaining, like the children of Yashar'el going to promise in the wilderness. 11-day journey took 40 years because they looked at their posture, their place, their position, instead of being content and trusting and believing in Yahuah, looking up to him like a child look up to the father. In thanksgiving, they did the contrary. So they didn't have what it take. Knowledge, it wasn't enough knowledge, even though they did have knowledge right in front of them. They saw the mighty hand of Yahuah, a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. They saw that, and they still allow their cold, callous heart to be hardened. So in near, it means fallow ground, tillage, plowing. You see our culture, you see that agriculture experience challenging us to cultivate, to germinate, to plant seeds, to pull up the weeds and all that. Not just spiritually, but this is our lifestyle naturally. So plowing, this function of allow, near, enables the RUACH of Yahuah to break up our stony heart. That's what the word does. The Bible says a broken and contrite spirit Yahuah will not despise. Why? A broken, contrite spirit allow us to see our need. It allows us to see our inadequacies, our need for Yahuah, our need for change. And so the fallow ground, what that means is that the land is left without cultivating. The land is left without, it's uninhabited. There's no seed in the ground that's able to come up because there's no nutrients. There's no cultivating. There's no tillage. There's no plowing there to get things going. So fallow ground means without growth, without vegetation. And then the ground, which is our heart, is the one that needs tillage, as we said. So it is we see the word tillage, that's a need to prepare, preparation. Tillage means to prepare the ground for growth, I mean to say. And to prepare it to bear fruit, to till the ground, to get it ready, to prepare it. So we talked about that in the heart of man. So then we said to plow, which is near as well. Plowing was the last word. It causes the soils of our heart to be turned. We talk about the animals turning. The pig's duty is to turn the soil, to prepare it. The plow, the mule with the plow machine on his back, going through and plowing up the ground, getting it ready to grow seeds. And then another word was for allow was, which was tame, for KAPH. Tame was another word. It is to control the nature of something. When you tame it, control the nature of sin by way of the seed of Yahuah. Tame the nature by causing it to die, eradicating, using that ability to pluck up, to pull out. That's what the word does. And it is a knife. It cuts. It eradicates. It removes. We can use that Madoc that Zion to remove some weeds out the way. The power of the word is just unequivocally amazing. So tonight's lesson, we're going further in the word knowledge, the da'ah of Yahuah. Knowledge, Hebrew lexicon 7922, as we said, is SEKEL. SEKEL is spelled Shin, Kuf, Lamet. So we extricated the Shin already, and we're on the letter, we're continuing in with the letter Kuf. So I'm going to repeat this. We said SEKEL in the function is a function of knowledge, which is prudence, the ability to discern some things, and discretion is to make right judgment. We said by way of SEKEL and knowledge. So tonight we see, I hope you see, our conspicuous memory card on the screen. We created about 22 of these. We had a few more to make. We see the conspicuous memory card, and conspicuous means this card is placed in an area where you can learn and see it. So we see it high up on the screen tonight. So when we look at the Hebrew lettering, this word letter KAPH, we see it in its 5 function. We see it by way of the picture, and you see the picture in the red. We see it in the way by way of the name of the letter, which is KAPH or KAPH. That's the way it pronounce it. We see it by way of meaning, which is bend, open, allow, and tame, as we just did a and then we see it by way of sound, and then sound is the 4th one, ka, and then ka, and ka. We see it by way of sound, and then the letter KAPH is represented by the number 20. So as I said, you can listen into last week's teaching. So we're going now to Psalms 119. It is very important, it's extremely important that when we study the word, when we read the word, especially in the experience of another, we need to understand that that same word that we read is one that is invited for us to take place. So we can put our name in David's place, in David's place. Psalm 119:81. So we're going to see his experience with knowledge by way of this Hebraic letter, KAPH, bend, open, allow, tame, represented, as you see the picture here, by the palm of a hand. So you see a literal palm of a hand, and on the left in the red you see a picture graph, which is the ancient letter and the way it's shaped. It is shaped a little different with the modern letter. So let's go there to Psalms 119. We're going to start at the 81st verse. And we hear the cry of David at that 81st verse. He said, I'm worn out waiting for your rescue, but I have put my hope in your word. And so we see knowledge, we see SEKEL on display by way of perceive, insight. We talked about the KAPH also earlier, being a letter, or da'ah, that gives us perception. and it gives us insight. He is enabled by the Spirit of Yahuah to know that his inadequacy has brought him very low, to the point where he takes on the invitation to allow his hope to be in what he knows. As the words say, hope that is deferred, it causes the man's heart to be sick. And so we have to fight for hope. You have to fight to keep hope alive no matter what, no matter who. And so I don't think there's anything wrong or worried about what if this happened, what would I do? And pretty much we don't know what we'll do if certain things happen, but we should consider it. We also should consider ahead of time what our response should be. And then we'll see if we'll be willing to carry it out. The Most High took the children of Yashar'el. He caused them to go into the wilderness. And he said, it was I that brought you here. I just wanted to see what was in your heart. I want to see if you're going to complain and see if you're going to just wait on me. I'm going to see if you're going to allow the power of what you know about me to cause you to live out here. I'm going to see if you're going to bend and see if you're going to be flexible. See if you're going to be open to receive where I brought you. Are you going to allow my presence to consume you so I can tame you? Now, I just summed up that definition of the letter KAPH. So that was an invitation to them. So we know that we receive what condition we're in because we're able to talk in regards to that. You know how you ask some people, how are you? How you doing? Oh, I'm okay. And they're really not okay. And not only do they not say anything to anybody, but they don't even take it to the Most High. They just deal with it, however, through alcohol. It may be drugs, it may be medication, it may be sugar, food, it may be, things, material things. Verse 82. Then he say, my eyes are straining to see your promises come true. When will you comfort me? When? I'm straining to see, I'm trying with everything I got. I'm bending. I'm open. My eyes are open, but I'm straining to let them open. When will you come? When will you comfort me? Let's reference that, because I'm sure we all can really, in these times that we now live in, we understand that the things that we have, maybe material things or whatever, nothing is able to keep us where we are content in knowing that his promises are sure. Material things can't do that for us to let us know that the promises of Yahuah is sure. The rich got stuff. The rich got friends. So it definitely can't be any of that. So it has to be an innate happening, a manifestation of the Spirit inwardly that causes us to press in no matter what. Like the woman who had the issue of blood. I know I heard he's coming to town. If I can just press, if I could just touch his garment, I don't care how many people around, I'm going to get low and try. And that's what she did. She opened her hand and she reached out and she touched him. She sure did. And strength went out of him. He felt her touch because she took something away from him that was for her, that portion that she needed. So we got to get low. We got to get low and know that he's right there to give us what we need. So we're going to reference that at Isaiah 38. Let's start on the... Let's start up at the 10th verse, 9th verse, Hezekiah, King Hezekiah. And we know what Hezekiah went through. his sickness and his recovery. The Most High allowed him to be here a little longer. But this was a poem of praise for him. He said, King Hezekiah was well again. He wrote this poem. I said in the prime of my life, must I now enter the place of the dead? Am I to be robbed of the rest of my years? I said, never again would I see Yahuah while still in the land of the living. So we know this is our self side talking. This is flesh talking. You know, we can discern and rightly divide or separate when the self, when fear is talking, when worry and doubt and unbelief is talking. We certainly can. And then he said, never again would I see my friends or be with those who live in this world. Verse 12, my life has been blown away like a shepherd's tent in a storm. It has been cut short as when a weaver cuts cloth from a loom. Suddenly my life was over, he thought. I waited patiently all night, verse 13, but I was torn apart as though by lions. Suddenly my life was over. So this is his testimony. This is the way he feels. You can see the emotions crying out. Verse 14, delirious, I chattered like a shallow or a crane, and then I moaned like a mourning dove. My eyes grew tired of looking to heaven for help. I'm in trouble. Yahuah, help me. But what could I say, verse 15? For he himself sent this sickness. Now I will walk humbly throughout my years because this anguish I felt. Show knowledge and allow him to say, if I'm in this condition, he allowed it. The Hebrew boys admitted. If we go in the fire, we still know he able. That doesn't mean he meant for us to go in the fire because he wanted to show up. That's his doing. So we see here Hezekiah realized that I'm more like a dove. My eyes grew tired of looking to heaven for help. I'm in trouble. But what could I say? For it was him who sent this sickness. Now I will walk humbly throughout my years because of this anguish I have felt. Yahuah, your discipline is good. Now you see the bending. You see the open, him being open to receive this constructive criticism or correction. Maybe. Shaul had to receive a thorn in his flesh. He had to receive a thorn, a correction. Yashar'el, we've got many thorns in the house of Yashar'el. A good father chastises his children. Yes, he does. So it was knowledge that allowed him to see this and discern this instead of just giving up. He humbled himself. He allowed this pressure, this thorn to tame him. Tame him in a way where he's up high, out of control, like a goat bucking all over the place. But now knowledge has allowed him to calm down to the point where his words begin to change. Yahuah, your discipline is good, he said, verse 16, for it leads to life and health. My. You know that's by the RUACH of Yahuah to be able to say that. You restore my health and allow me to live. So I'm going to live with what I have. Yes, this anguish was good for me. Verse 17. How many of you could be able to say that? Yes, this anguish was good for me. For you have rescued me from death and forgiven all my sins. See, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, it has not entered our understanding, our heart, what he has in store for them that love him, them that wait on his doing. Allow his procedure to go through, to take us through the valley so that we can see it's for our good. He said, for dead, For the dead cannot praise you. They cannot raise their voices in praise. Those who go down to the grave can no longer hope in your faithfulness. And so he was given more years on the earth. He was given longer life. So instead of holding on to his right to complain, it was his right to be a mere man. That's if he wanted to please himself. Now, you can't be pleasing Yahuah. Talking about it's your right to complain. No, it's not our right to complain when we want to please him. We want to eventually submit ourselves wholeheartedly to whatever he's doing. Let's look at another. I'm going to give you another reference for that. It's Lamentation. Lamentations, the second chapter. Let me pull that up in my lexicon. Let me pull that up in my sequel. Okay. Second chapter. 11 verse says, my eyes do fail with tears, my bowels are troubled, my liver is poured upon the earth, for the destruction of the daughter of my people, because the children and the sucklings soon in the streets of the city. They say to their mothers, where is grain and wine? When they soon as the wounded in the streets of the city, when their souls were poured out into their mother's bosom. What thing shall I take to witness for you? What thing shall I liken to you, O daughter of Jerusalem? What shall I equal to you that I may comfort you, O virgin daughter of Zion? For your breach is great like the sea. Who can heal you? Let's go back to Psalms 119, 83. I am shriveled, he began to say, I am shriveled like a wineskin in the smoke, but I have not forgotten to obey your decree. So on one side, we see his inadequacy, and on the other side, we see his willingness, his flexibility to submit. You know, we see his ability to say, I'm going to obey your decrees. You know, I got excuses to give up, but instead, I'm going to acknowledge you in all my ways, and I'm going to let you direct me. I'm just not going to I'm not going to use my occasion to complain or murmur or to give up, to just take me out. I'm shriveled like a wineskin. So that means he was looking pretty old, banged up. Flesh just leaving here. So when we understand that flesh going to leave here anyway, it's going to shrivel up. It's going to get colorful, dark colors, and everything else. Get ready, get ready. It's going to do all that. So when we know that, we don't allow that to make us forget Yahuah. Verse 84. How long must I wait? When will you punish those who persecute me? Let's go to Revelation 6. Yeah. So now he's talking about those who hate him, those arrogant people that hate his instructions. When you going to deal with them, Yahuah? I can remember one of the letters, it was saying that while you deal with my enemies, I'm going to keep your command. I can't remember which one it was. I choose to obey you while you just take care of them. Do what thy will. Meaning their fate is going to be their destruction or their reward. Revelation 6. Let's reference that. This is the opening of the 7 seals. The Lamb break the first 6 seal. And we know this is what is to come. Let's start at when the Lamb opened the 5th seal, which is the 9th, Revelation 6 and 9. When the Lamb broke the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been martyred. Can you get my little pink fan? It's right on the side of the bag. They broke open the seal. I saw under the altar of the souls of those who had been martyred for the word of Yahuah and for being faithful in their testimony. Now you see that, folk, saints, Hebrews being martyred, and to be martyred means to be decapitated, literally decapitated, for keeping for the word of Yahuah and for being faithful to what they say. Wow. And let's read. Then it says, verse 10, they shouted to Yahuah and said, "Oh, Yahuah, holy and Kodash, which is holy and true. How long before you judge the people who belong to this world and avenge our blood for what they have done to us?" You see that? Those martyrs just asking him, how long will it be before you avenge our blood? Verse 11. Then a white robe was given to each of them, and they were told to rest a little longer until the full number. You see, numbers mean everything with Yahuah. Until the full number of their brothers and sisters, their fellow servant of Yahusha, who were to be martyred. So there are more martyrs that come along to join them. And so when we know this word, we can know what to expect. So pre-adventure, the choice would be get your head chopped off or take this mark. What would you do? Each one of us should have had that thought as to what will we do. That's why our prayer should be, Father, let me be counted worthy to escape the wrath to come. Will we be willing to be decapitated for the sake of the word and our testimony? Let's reference that some more. Psalm 79 and 10. I want to reference this a little bit more. Psalm 79. Let's reference that a little bit more. Let's start with the 5th verse. And this is one where Yashar'el asks, that 5th verse is Psalm 79. "Oh Yahuwah, how long will you be angry with us? Forever?" I think we did this on Shabbat. How long will your jealousy burn like fire? Yes. We was talking about his righteous indignation through the fire, his passion. Pour out your wrath on the nation that refuse to acknowledge you, on kingdoms that do not call upon your name. And this is the cry. For they have devoured your people, Yashar'el, making the land a desolate wilderness. Do not hold us guilty for the sin of our ancestors. Let your compassion quickly meet our needs. For we are on the brink of despair. Help us, O Yahuah, our salvation. Help us for the kabod of your name. Save us and forgive our sins. Mama, and you say his name don't mean nothing. Watch yourself. For the honor of your name. Verse 10, why should pagan nations be allowed to scoff, asking, where is their Yahuah? Where is their power? Where is their father? Where is their deliverer? In so many words. Show us your vengeance against the nation, for they have spilled the blood of your servants. Yes, much blood been shed. I think Yashar'el is out of the world, the most slaved and genocide, killing and slaying of a people more than any other nation in the world. Yashar'el, the Hebrew. Children, men, women alike. Verse 11, listen to the mourning of the prisoners. Demonstrate your great power by saving those condemned to die. O Yahuah, pay back our neighbors 7 times for the scorn they have hurled at you. Then we, your people, the sheep of your pasture, will thank you forever and ever, praising your greatness from generation to generation. Wow. And you can see more references like that in Zechariah 1 and 12, Luke 18 and 7, Revelation 3 and 7, 10th verse of Revelation 3, Revelation 19 and 2. Let's go back to Psalms 119. Verse 85. There we go. These arrogant people who hate your instruction have dug deep pits to trap me. Psalms 35. Let's reference that. 35 and 19. Then we're going to go to Psalms 57. See, this word will teach us how to pray against our enemies. When we was taught in Christendom, we was told to turn the other cheek, pray for those who spitefully use you and say all manner. This is the prayer you should be praying. Deal with them according to your righteous indignation. Pray for them that hate you and despitefully use you. Yeah. Communicate to the Father what you need him to do. Because he says what he's going to do. And it's terrible. It is absolutely, he's not talking about saving the heathen. He is not. He's talking about doing away with those who persecute us. Those who did Yashar'el wrong. Even though he allowed it. Psalms 35, let's reference starting at the 17th verse. How long, Yahuah, will you look on and do nothing? Rescue me from their fierce attack. Protect my life from these lions. Verse 18. Then I will thank you in front of the great assembly. I will praise you before all the people. Don't let my treacherous enemy rejoice over my defeat. Don't let those who hate me without cause gloat over my sorrow. They don't talk of shalom. They plot against innocent people who mind their own business. They shout, aha, aha. With our own eyes, we saw him do it. They're liars. Oh, Yahuah, you know all about this. Do not stay silent. Do not abandon me, O Yahuah. Rise up, wake up. Rise up to my defense. Take up my case, Yahuah, my Allure. Declare me not guilty, O Yahuah, my Allure, for you give justice. Don't let my enemy laugh about me in my troubles. Don't let them say, look, we got what we wanted. Now we will eat them alive. My. May those who rejoice in my troubles be humiliated and disgraced. May those who triumph over me be covered with shame and dishonor. But give great joy to those who came to my defense. Let them continue to say, great is Yahuah, who delights in blessing his servant with shalom. Flip over to 57 and 6. There you go again. My enemies have set a trap for me. I'm weary from distress. They have dug a deep pit in my path, but they themselves have fallen into it. That's the way it goes. We submit humbly to the word, and Yahuah does the vengeance. He say, vengeance belong to me, said Yahuah. I will repay. So can we pray and ask him to deal with it? Oh yeah. Oh yes. Ooh, look at that Jeremiah 18. Ooh, that thing is... There's a plot here against Jeremiah. It started at 18:18. It said, then the people said, come on, let us plot a way to stop Jeremiah. You know, that's the enemy's reward. It's to stop us from fulfilling covenant, to hinder us from filling our portion by way of frustration, by way of, lack, by way of the use of other people, words, just throwing bricks, stones. I know how that feels. Whatever is necessary to stop you, that's the enemy's job. So we see the plot. But since knowledge has already told us that there's an enemy that walks up and down, to and fro, seeking who he can stop, who he can devour, seeing he's sneaking and seeing who he can just destroy. He wants to destroy you, who is power within you. That's what he wants. We are the power that's in the earth. We are the one that carry us. Remember when Isaiah, we read that? And the root, the branch out of the root, is who is he? It is Yahuah, Yahusha. It is the head. We are the body, the same presence, the same RUACH that resurrect him, the same power that moves about the earth in Abba Yahuah, who is power. He is RUACH. That's the same power that is enabled upon us if we can just dare to allow him to do his due diligence. So it says, we have plenty of priests and wise men and prophets. Jeremiah 19, I'm at 18. We don't need him to teach the word and give us advice and prophecy. They talking about the mouthpiece. See, folks don't realize when you talk about the Most High's prophets his teachers, mores, morons, prophet, prophetess, pastor, whoever. It's just like talking about him, especially if they're in right alignment with him. Look at what they said. Let's spread rumors about him and ignore what he said. How are you, your bad self, going to ignore what Yahuah said? And then later on, when Yahuah gets rid of the flesh with the way you act and your attitude before you, you're going to be crying out, oh, I'll do it now. I hear you. Oh, just give me another chance. No, let me show you your chance you had. You gave up your chance for a moment of ignorance, for a moment of stubbornness, for a moment to refuse to hear my prophet. Look what you said about him. Let us spread rumors about him. And then we're going to ignore what he said. I don't worry about people ignoring what I say. I'm very numb in that area. I have to be obedient whether I get likes or looks or what. Look at that 19th verse. Yahuah, hear me and help me. Listen to what my enemies are saying. Should they repay evil for good? They have dug a pit to kill me. That's a prophet talking. Though I pleaded for them, I'm crying out for them, and they trying to kill me. How you going to bite the hand that feeds you, that Yahuah used to bless you, to baruch you? How you going to block the hands and talk about the hand that's helping you get what you need? Boy, that's the essence of reprobate like never before. And I tried to protect them from your anger. Moshe did the same thing, and look where it landed him, frustration. So this is what he said. Since they acting like that, let their children starve. Oh my gosh. Verse 21, let their children starve. Let them die by the sword. Just go ahead and kill them, Yahuah. Let their wives become childless widows. Let their old men die in a plague. And let their young men be killed in battle. Wow. Talk about dealing with our enemy. Verse 22. Let screaming be heard from their homes as warriors come suddenly upon them. That means let the enemy come in and just kick them out. Yashar'el know what that feel like. Coming in just destroying, burning up everything they got. For they have dug a pit for me and have hidden traps along my path. My. Do it, Yahuah. Woo! This resonate with me. I can ditto this prayer. Yahuah, you know all about their murderous plots against me. That means if they're murderous plot against Yahuah's mouthpiece, that means they're trying to stop Yahuah. Don't forgive their crimes and blot out their sins. Let them die before you. Deal with them in your anger. Wow. Jeremiah, he's on it. Deal with them. Let's go back to Psalms 119, 85. So he said, deal with the arrogant. He started out with those who hate your instruction. Who that is? That's the proud and the rebellious. Like Ezekiel, I believe his 20th chapter talks about Yahuah around the 30-something verse. He'll purge out the rebels. That's his job to do. The rebellious. Oh, that's so mean. Why you ain't praying that they get saved? Why you ain't praying that they get delivered? Because they're sons of... You can't pray for Satan. You can't pray for Hashatan. You can't pray for the son of perdition either. They're already destined for death. Verse 86, Psalm 119. We're going to finish KAPH by way of Psalm 19, and then next week we'll be ready for Lamed. All your commands are trustworthy. Protect me from those who hunt me down without cause. Boy, Yashar'el know what that feels like. To be hunted down without cause. To chase, hunt, trail. Which letter is that? We was talking, was that the Zion? We was talking about that last week. Who's the most people to be chased, to be hunted down, to be killed without cause? just because. And if you ask them why they do that to Yashar'el, they don't even know. They have no idea why it is designed. The Sadiq. They have no idea why they hate Yashar'el. They just don't know. It's because the Hashtan is in them. And then the 87th verse. Yeah. They almost finished me off, but I refuse to abandon your commandments. Look how he's talking. We can look in this word to know that if Dawi was able to do it, so can we. Why we can't do it? When all the trouble and the turmoil and the despair and all these things coming at us. Look at Job. Issues, situation, drama after drama coming. But you just got to have enough knowledge. You got to put knowledge in order to be enabled to know what to do. It is the power, the functioning of what has been made available to us. How could they hear without a teacher? How could we teach except we be sent? We cannot reject knowledge. He said, you reject knowledge, I'm going to reject you too. Hosea 6:2 or Hosea somewhere in there. You reject knowledge, I'm going to reject you and your children. You will not be able to stand before me and not even pray because you're rejecting the knowledge. To reject knowledge is to mean you, like these people. I don't want to hear the prophet. Scared. Talk to the hand. I don't want to hear that. To reject knowledge is not to do our due diligence to get somewhere where we can get this word. We got to be hungry for it. As a deer panting for the water, our soul should be longing after Yahuah, longing after the word. He is RUACH. He is the word. He's the manifestation. He is the power of what the word does in us. We can't know him by his name until we experience him inwardly, ruachly. That's how we know him. And when we know him, we can talk like this. They almost finished me off, but I refuse to abandon your commandment. That means if I go down, like the Maccabee boys in the book of Maccabee, we just not going to give up. We're not going to give in to your threats. Last verse, and we'll be closing out. In your unfailing love, spare my life. In your unfailing love. So he knew where to go for it, the supply. He knew what to ask for in order for his life to be spared. Your unfailing love. Spare my life. Then I can continue to obey your laws. So he knew what knowledge gave him enough to pull. It's like going to the gas station, getting the gas what you need. Study to show yourself approved unto Yahuah. A workman not being ashamed, but right living. Living this word meaning to fill up on the word. Get full of it. Let it operate at the opportune time. Because as sure as we take the time to study the word, we're going to take the time, we're going to have the time to experience it in real time. Just like the Bible says, when trouble comes, it's not if the challenge to keep the word is going to come, it's when it comes. Are we going to pass our test? And so with knowledge, with KAPH, we can pass our test. I hope you enjoyed this teaching for tonight, which I was meaning to say at the beginning. Subscribe to our channel, share, and like this teaching. So we'll see you once again this Shabbat. We're already in the new year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Yashar'el. Mishpachah. Happy New Year. We're celebrating this moment of Pesach, Feast of Unleavened Bread. We're celebrating the fact that we were delivered just in time. We followed the instructions of Yahuah when he allowed the death angel to go through the Mizraim so that we could escape. We followed his instruction to put blood on the lintel and on the doorpost, and the death angel passed over us. us or passed over our children. So we're grateful for that, and we'll continue to celebrate and to keep the holy feast of Yahuah. I pray you have a beautiful rest of your evening, and we say to you, Shalom.